I'm sitting there doing the morning show at 7:20 like normal, and I'm seeing your comments saying Fish must be sleeping in. And I'm going, no, I'm right here. I don't know. I'll play with it all day and we'll try to get it right. In the meantime, thank you for your patience and your tolerance of my technological ineptitude. We'll do it live. We'll do it here. 3 items on the Fish for Lunch menu this morning: 1, 2, and 3. Item number 1, ding. Those grades, the NFLPA grades. The Cowboys finished 10th overall. That doesn't seem like a disaster to me, especially because there's one of the issues: we need more trainers. That's super fixable. And then the other issue is, I hope, temporary. The idea that Jerry Jones didn't do enough to make the team competitive, doesn't do enough to make the team competitive. That was true in 2024. It hasn't been true for the course of 35 years. So maybe that's just a shorty. We're going to find out in 12 days if that gets fixed. But then, because we don't want to do Cowboy grades, NFLPA grades in a vacuum, I looked around. The Patriots, Robert Kraft and their ownership and their front office is rated by its own players to be bottom 5 in every possible category, and they don't give them Wi-Fi on the team plane. Diddly diddly dink. What? Philadelphia, their locker room gets a D, and their travel gets an F. Now, I don't know what they do wrong. I know that, when a 6'4", 330-pound guy tries to go sit in seat 22D in coach, that's no fun. I don't know what the Eagles do wrong, but their players gave their own team D's and F's in some of these categories. And then we go to the Cincinnati Bengals, who, like every other NFL team, they ask the player, get here first thing in the morning, stay all day, lift them weights, run that track, watch that film. And of course, we talk about how the Cowboys with the Star, I still think it's the most impressive facility of its kind in America. And one of the reasons is it's its own bubble. Joshua Fish, legal tampering begins when? March 10. You can start legally tampering March 10. You can officially sign March 12th. And of course, you can deal with your own, Cowboys and OSA, right now. Thanks for the question. JT, maybe the Star is about pampering. Valid. We'll never have the truest answer. We'll never know for sure, like at training camp. Is it better to do training camp where, in Oxnard, where the weather, for one thing, allows you to work all day? Or is it better to go to BFD, where they barely have running water, so all you can focus on is football? There's no right answer. Teams do it different ways. Gary E., the Eagles facility looks like a high school. Apparently so. But the Cowboys want their players to be here all day, here in Frisco, here at the facility. So part of that is you got to feed them. The Bengals don't give their players access to food throughout the day. I don't know. They DoorDash? So in summary, the Cowboys grading themselves, the players grading their own organization as 10th. I know Cowboy Nation wants them to be 1, but so do Bengals fans and Patriots fans and Eagles fans. Maybe you don't have it so bad. Players, Cowboys players. Item 2, ding. On the meetings list, and thank you to Tommy Yarsh and to Nick Harris, they've assembled a bunch of the names. You get to meet with 45 guys at the scouting combine, 45 official visits. The Cowboys have already done a bunch of those. They're probably a third of the way through those. And Walter Nolan's on that list. In fact, all the names that I've seen are all defense. That the last time I checked, as of last night, every meeting that's gone public for the Cowboys in Indianapolis have been with defensive players. Is that super significant to pick number 12? Not sure yet, because not everybody they meet with is a first round pick. You know, they might want to get to know some guy that they have their eye on who's at the combine, and projected as a fifth round pick. But three of the defensive players that they've met with are defensive linemen, including the Michigan defensive tackle, who's like 340 pounds. And of course, I can hear you already saying, not another Michigan defensive lineman, not another Mozzie Taco. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope not. Gary, Fish, are we playing possum? If we're talking about how Stephen is just inching toward admitting that the Cowboys have the muscle to do what they want in free agency, I hope they're playing possum, because he's just inching. And item 3, I think the Cowboys are making a major mistake at quarterback. And part of this is the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas future. The ghost of Christmas past is Trey Lance. They tried, didn't work, probably done. The ghost of Christmas future is about Dak Prescott. I'm going to say it again. You've heard me say it before. We pay Dak Prescott too much. Dak Prescott isn't this. He's only a top 7. He's only a top 10. He's only a top 15. No amount of money, no amount of salary for Dak Prescott will have been considered too much if they win big. And no salary for Dak Prescott will be considered a bargain if they don't win big. If you were paying Dak Prescott $30 million and going 7 and 10, then the $30 million is wasted. The only way to justify whatever he's making, 30, 40, 50, 60, is to go win big. But that's the ghost of Christmas future. The ghost of Christmas present that I think is a major mistake is about Cooper Rush. VJ, need a quality backup with Dak being more injury prone. And maybe Will Greer. Will Greer might be a capable number 2 quarterback. I can see that. And he's under contract and he's super cheap. That might be it. But Stephen's comments about, basically predicting that they're not going to be able to afford Cooper Rush, while at the same time saying, I don't know what the market's going to bear for him. That's a mistake, Stephen. Number one, you need to know. You're kind of the general manager of an NFL team. You kind of need to know. And number 2, and we've seen this happen around here way too often, and everybody now across the country knows about Derrick Henry and about how people mistakenly think they should have signed him, when the real story is they should have called him. I'm not mandating the Cowboys to sign everybody. I'm just mandating them to call somebody. But I go back to the Honey Badger. That's my most famous story. They assumed that the Honey Badger would be too expensive, so they never even investigated. That's when we started talking about the Cowboys front office being asleep at the wheel. Don't be asleep at the wheel, Stephen, on your own guy. Find out what the market will bear now. Find out. For starters, call Cooper Rush's agent. Again, I'm not saying Cooper Rush is a must sign. I'm saying what Cooper Rush can get and what you want to pay him is not a must sign. It's a must know. Henry Gonzalez, maybe Cooper Rush wants to try to free agent. Maybe. I don't blame him if he does. But the general manager of the Cowboys should know that, should know what the market bears, should know what we're going to pay him, period. And should not be saying, I don't know, I don't think it's going to work out. That's not a good enough answer. I keep going back to, because they did win the Super Bowl, you keep going back to Howie Roseman in Philadelphia and using him as the standard bearer. There's no way, because they have a bunch of free agents too. They have issues too. There's no way that Howie Roseman doesn't have extremely good guesstimates on what his free agents could make elsewhere and what he wants to pay him. I guarantee he's on that. In fact, in the coming days, I'm working on a project with, can't tell you who it is. I'm going to have good, solid, projected price tags on all the Cowboys free agents, and maybe free agents across the NFL. I'm going to have them ranked, and I'm going to try to have dollar figures attached to them done by people who know. And if I could do it, Stephen, you can do it. Fish at 6 live tonight, maybe. Might just do it this way. This is the surest bet. But I appreciate you jumping around and finding me. Go find me also at cowboyscountry.com. We need you there. Fish, out.